before having the negotiation conversation, it's also important to assume that the company's done its research, um, and they kind of already have an idea of what they're willing to offer, especially at an in an entry level position. It's also really important for you to do your homework as well, from reputable sources.
The reality is that there's really a starting salary in the service line that you've chosen to go into, and it's really not flexible in most cases. It'll be flexible on certain things, like if you have to move or other things that are increasing some of your costs, and maybe be willing to go out there. But I think that it comes off as a little bit off-putting at the bigger accounting firms if you're trying to negotiate a salary right off the bat.
Most of the firms, I know our firm, we kind of have our starting salary set for our staff people that we're offering to right out of college. And, we don't, that's kind of where we're at. And that's what the offer is. And, we've had a few situations where, or I've experienced a few situations where someone might say, well, I've got two other offers, and yours seems pretty, lower than them. And that has created a relook on our side where we'll go back and look at where we're at and possibly do something different. But, you don't see that a lot coming from college.
In 10 years, I'm not sure I've seen, at least on the pay aspect, I've not seen a negotiation work. I think a lot of the entry-level pay is a somewhat complex calculation based on, market rates and things like that. So not seeing it work on that. What I have seen from a negotiation perspective is when an employee would start. So, hey, look, I've got XYZ vacation or a family trip. So no, I can't start in September. Instead, I can start in November. And that happens all the time. And the firms tend to be very flexible with timing of when people can start.
I would say there are times it's appropriate to negotiate on an offer. However, I would say the approach you take is more important than anything else. I think it's important to remember especially when you're coming out of college and an offer you have, especially for a public accounting firm, most firms are offering multiple people the same offer. And so before trying to negotiate, really trying to assess, well, what are you negotiating? What are you trying to negotiate that if you think you deserve more money than someone else coming out of college, what are you bringing to the table that the other 100 candidates or however many it is that they don't have, to where that's reasonable, that makes sense. So I would definitely caution people before negotiating, especially with your first job in your career, because there are a lot of candidates out there.
I will say, and a couple of times I've not had this happen to myself in a situation, but when people try to negotiate an extra XYZ number of dollars and a start pay, that does tend to rub people the wrong way, which is why I would caution against. I think it's probably one of those things, is the bang worth the buck there, and I'm not sure it is.
So before you decide if you're going to negotiate or not, I think it's important to consider the complete package. So not only what you'll receive in your paycheck each month, but also the other ways the company is going to provide compensation, through benefits, 401k, retirement, and things like that. And also to consider the growth opportunities.
I think it's important to remember that an offer, it's really easy, especially, early on in your career, to really focus on the salary number, as that is the offer. But I think it's important to remember that an offer is looking at it at the full package. So in addition to the salary, what sort of benefits are included in your offer? What sort of retirement contributions has the organization made? How much time off do you get? So really reflecting what is valuable to you and what are you looking for in a career? Are you wanting to work hard, but then you're wanting to take a bunch of time off and travel the world? Then I would look more at what your PTO package is in your offer, less so than the salary, and kind of look at it from the holistic entire package that you're being offered. And then I would also say, you know, if you do feel like you want to negotiate something, you know, I'd really encourage, you know, people to approach it more as a discussion, not a hard fast, I have to have this number, take it or leave it type thing. But really have a discussion with the hiring manager as far as what is it that you're seeing that is lacking in the offer type thing. Is it that you have 4 other offers that are all $5,000 more per year? You know, then be open and transparent with that, to share why it is that you're struggling with the current offer, you know, and be more open in that aspect, so that you're giving the other side the understanding as to where you're coming from, rather than just thinking you're just trying to get a little extra money out of the situation.
If I ensure that I'm working for the right people, for the right company, that I can lose myself to my passion for my work, and that will naturally lead to raises and promotions.